Hello everyone, this is Kelly with Crafting Creation Studio, and today I am going to do a bloom. I have picked out 4 colors. I'm going to do this Let's Resin Raspberry, Let's Resin Dark Magnolia, Let's Resin Rose, and the Let's Resin Rose Weed, or rosewood. And then for the blooms, I'm going to use, this is from Pouring Your Heart Out. This is the Bloom pigment paste. So I've mixed up 5 ounces because this is a 2-layer process, and I've mixed up 5 ounces of resin. I'm going to pour about an ounce in here in this smaller cup. I'm sorry, I mixed up 4 ounces of resin, not 5, because I do a thin layer on the bottom for the bloom and then I back it. Okay, so that is about an ounce. And then I'm going to get my bloom pigment paste mixed in. And I'm going to do 2 drops. One, two. Okay. And get that mixed up. I like this to get heated up before I put it in there to make my blooms. I think I'm going to add 1 more drop. It's not as rich colored as I like it to be, so I'm going to put 1 more drop in there, and that should do it. It doesn't take a whole lot, but I like it. I don't want it to be translucent, and it was translucent, so and I'm going to put this in a piping bag. Oh yeah, I don't have any scissors out here. I can probably cut the tip of it. I've got a razor knife. I can probably cut the tip of it with that. Okay, so that looks good. It's not super dark, but it's not translucent. So the next step is going to be to pour the rest of this resin into my mold and get that thin base layer going on it. And I hope I mix up enough. I may have to mix up a little bit more. I'm going to have to mix up a little bit more. Okay, so I mixed up 4 more ounces of resin. I really wasn't paying attention when I grabbed the mold. I grabbed the bigger one. I would pop these bubbles that are here in the corners, because I tend to get bubbles in the corner on these around the edge. And I already see some, so I'm going to go ahead and get them out of the way. Okay. And I mixed up 4 ounces of resin. I don't know if I will use all 4 ounces, but maybe. Because this is a big mold. This mold is actually from Pouring Your Heart Out as well. She has some beautiful, beautiful molds to create blooms and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a really nice mold, a good thick made, handmade mold, visit Pouring Your Heart Out, and I believe it's eBay, and she is out of Australia. Alright, so I'm going to spritz this and try to get some of these bubbles popped. I ran this through the vacuum chamber as well. Alright, let that sit for just a minute. And I went ahead and put my blooming pigment paste into a piping bag. I'm going to start out in the center because I can't find my crushed crystal anywhere. Once again, as I've said numerous times, I've got to get everything out here organized and structured where I know where it's at. Let me shake this up. So good in there. Don't know how that happened. Oh well, it'll be alright. There's going to be plenty of color in here. At least I got my center started for me. Alright, so I'm going to put a couple of drops in the center because I want the center dark. Then I'm going to go around that with this one. And then I'm going to do the rosewood on the outer edge of this one. I'll put one more of this one out there. And then I'm going to go around these little points with the rose. Then I'm going to let these spread for a minute. There. Kind of let those kind of spread and do their thing. I'll get the lids back on all of these. And then I'm going to do a swirl effect that I like to do. And let me get a different silicone tipped tool here. I have another. My round one. There it is. This is the one I like to use for my. That's not it. There it is. Okay. How's everybody's day going so far today? It was kind of a slow day at work. Hopefully, trying to get that. I'm down to my last paper towel again. I go through way too many paper towels, but I keep bounty in business. Which I'm sure most of us do that work with resin. Paper towel company loves us. Alright, so kind of like the way that looks there. I think what I'm going to do is just swirl these into a pretty little pattern. Get that swirled, and then I will start piping in my bloom paste. So what do y'all think? I think it looks nice once it gets all spread out to where it needs to be. Now I just got to figure out how to cut this bloom bag open, I think. Or not this bloom bag, but this piping bag. Just kind of squeeze it down to the bottom kind of tight. And then I like to take and just twist it. And you don't want to cut your hole too big in the piping bag, because you don't want it flowing out of there fast, but you don't want to have to squeeze with everything you've got either to get it out. So I'm going to take my box knife here, if I can get it off of my little shelf thing. There we go. And hopefully be able to cut the tip of this. I normally use scissors, but I don't have any out here. I've got to bring a pair out here. Okay, so as you can see, it'll just drip at a slow drip. You'll see that? That's kind of the way I like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here in the center, and I'm going to draw a circle around this center bloom, and then go inward with it. Then I'm going to go around these. And how do I want to do this other part? I think I'll just keep going in a bloom pattern like this. Let that sit for just a minute, and you want to take a tool, and if you see any like blobs, kind of spread them out so you don't have any blobs where it's thick. When you get these darker colors in it, sometimes it's hard to see those. Believe you me, I've had my fair share of missing them and had blobs in my bloom. It's gonna happen. But it should start blooming nicely here shortly, and you'll kind of see it doing that. But I am going to take this center part and swirl it like that. And then I generally like to go like from the corner here up on these. Kind of give it a pointed tip on the bloom. And then on these shorter corners, I go backwards with it and come down. And then give that another little swirl like that. And that should be good. And then we'll just kind of watch and see how it starts doing the blooming effect. Hopefully it does good. I haven't done a bloom in a while. And we shall see. And I will probably, to make this pop, I'll probably back this in black. A lot of the darker blooms like that, if you back them in a dark color, they tend to pop and stand out really nicely. Get my tools cleaned up here. We'll sit here and watch this for just a minute. Hopefully you see it start blooming. Sometimes I will take my heat gun and kind of help it along, or my little, I'm not going to get my actual, well, here, let me get my heat gun out and see if I can help it start blooming just a little bit. Decide which one of these two I plug. I think it's that one. That's the right one. We didn't go dark. Okay. I'm going to keep this on low. But you just want to take it and just turn it up one more notch. Just push it in. Oh, that's a little too high. There's a bubble there. That'll help also pop any bubbles that surface as well. And then push that one out. You don't want to do it too long because you don't want to get the resin too heated, but it does help it. My fear of doing this has always been accidentally dropping this daggum heat gun into the resin. That would be bad. Okay, that should be good to kind of get it started. Pull that up into the corner a little bit. I do see it starting to bloom. We're just going to let it sit and do its thing. And hopefully I don't have any blobs. It's kind of hard to tell at this point with that dark ink in there. But even with blobs, they still usually turn out pretty, as long as there's not an excessive amount of blobs. But I'm going to start. I'm sorry I'm making so much background noise. I'm not sure what happened and when my camera cut off, but I went up there to pause it while this thing was blooming, and I apologize because I'm sure some of this got missed. I'll have to go back and watch it and, you know, edit it and then kind of come back in and talk about what was missed on that. So once again, I apologize for that, but I'm going to go grab a bite to eat, and I will be back and we will resume and see where we are to pour the back layer on it. Okay, so now we're going to put that back layer on there, and I am using this Let's Resin black epoxy resin pigment paste. So I'm going to put I mixed up 8 ounces of resin to do this back layer with. And I'm going to mix it pretty dark. I'm also going to put some of the diamond dust in it to kind of give it a shimmer. I'll spin it out here. That stuff goes everywhere. It's so fine, but it is so pretty. All right, let me get this mixed up. Mix it up really, really good. I did vacuum chamber the resin, so it's bubble free. You want as little bubbles as possible, even though it still forms some, and I tend to stir probably harder than I need to, but I like to make sure it's all mixed in good. One of these years I'm going to get my new resin mixer with the silicone paddles on it. I've got a dual one where it will mix up 2 cups at one time. One of these days I'm going to get that unboxed and start using it. Alright, that looks good. It's got a nice shimmer to it, which is what I wanted. So let's start pouring. It's been probably 2.5 hours since I poured that first layer. It's not completely cured, but you want it to where it's just kind of a solid touch to the touch, but kind of sticky too. Alright, let's see what this does. Maybe a little bit more here. It is not completely full yet, but it's close. Getting really, really close. You don't really want to dome the homemade molds, and I definitely do have some left over. So I didn't need 8 ounces. I probably only needed about 6 maybe. I'm gonna scoop just a little bit of that out because I'm afraid I got it a little too full. And I am gonna spritz it. Okay, I think that looks good. Let me get here at eye level. I swear sometimes it feels like my level table isn't level, but I'm gonna slide this over a little bit. Hopefully I can get to where I can see the little bubble on my level table without going off the edge with this and making a bad mess. It looks like it's still in the center. I'll get my husband to check it tomorrow when I'm at work to make sure. Okay. Man, I've got a bunch left over, I think. Let me spritz this. Make sure I'm not going to have any bubbles here on that edge. I think that looks good. All right, let me get my mold that's got for my pendants, and I'll swirl some black and white in there. Or swirl some white in there with it. Let me find that. Give me just 1 second. Put a little which candy I stuck it in. I have no clue. And there's 18 of them, so. I've got 3 that are still empty, so I've got to get out here and start getting all that sorted. Can't find it there. But I have a brand new one. Where did I put that? Another one of these totes. So we will open it up. What's going to be hard is trying to. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it the way that I want to do it. Oh, no, no, no. One of them silly bugs, when I opened up the door, flew in and just flew right into my resin. So let me get my little net and cover this because I don't want no bugs in it. All right, so we'll cover that up. And then I'm going to see if I can finagle my phone around over here to this carrying machine and see if this will fit in there, and it will. Let me see if I can shift this stuff around a little bit. Maybe slide my leveling table down this way. Yep, there's a little pearl. And then put this right there. Yay! Okay, mission accomplished. Let me get some. I wonder what would be the best. I would think black and white would look good, but I don't have any white resin mixed up. And I got some resin on the edge of my workstation here. I'm getting that off. Sorry guys, I wasn't prepared to do any extras, but I guess I am, so we'll be here shortly as soon as I get everything all organized. I wonder what let's just try doing I guess the sinker white in it. I don't know if it's going to even show up, but it's worth a try, so I'm not wasting any resin. kind of swirl that. Okay, it is time to demold. And we are going to demold these pendants first. Ooh, yeah, that came out nice. Nice, nice, nice. It did swirl really, really nicely. Oh gosh, look at that one. Look at that one side. Y'all see that? Pretty. That one's pretty too. Love it, love it, love it. Love it when things turn out pretty. Now that one is mostly black. There's a little bit of white in it, but it's got the sparkle too, so it's pretty. That one is all black with the sparkle, still pretty. Now this one is really nice. It's got some there on the outer edge and in the middle. Two more. Oh wow, look at that one, guys. Gorgeous. You get that light away from it, and then you can't really see it because it's so pretty. And last one. Oh, that one's pretty too. You see it? It's that light. Now you can get a good view of it. Pretty. Alright. Now, fingers crossed that I don't have any big blobs on. Let me get these moved over. I gotta put some flat back bells on these. So hopefully there's no big blobs on this, y'all. Y'all cross your fingers with me that it turned out the way I wanted it to. And there's blobs. Blobs, blobs, blobs. I don't have good luck really on the blooms that have the several petals on them like that, because when you use dark ink you can't really see the blobs. So there are lots of blobs on that. I'm not real happy with that. I mean, it's still pretty. The color combination is pretty. You can see the sparkle through the floral part of it as well, but there's just too many blobs. Too many blobs. So that's that. There's not really any pictures to put up because I'm not going to put pictures of the blob up. But anyway, thank you for sharing this video. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please go and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that like button. Everybody have a blessed evening. Bye.